Hello, my name is Andrew Fake from Mines and Money, and this interview is brought to you in association with Redcloud. Delighted to have with us today Pascal Hamelin, who's the President and Chief Executive Officer of Abcourt Mines. Delighted to have you back, Pascal. I think that since we last spoke, I think there have been a number of exciting developments, but perhaps just for viewers who aren't aware of Abcourt Mines, but we have a bit of an overview of the company first.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Andrew. Yeah, Abcourt, we're in Quebec in Canada. We're in the B2B Greenstone Belt. We're focusing on gold. We 100% own a gold mill in the B2B camp, and we have many deposits surrounding the mill. In the last few months, we've been cleaning that mill. There's been material that built up in the I don't want to get too technical, but there's been material stockpiling and accumulating with gold inside the tanks. So we've been cleaning them. We generated a profit in the quarter ending December 31st. And I'm not going to make forward-looking statement, but when you saw the sale that we did for the quarter ending March 31st, it looks very promising for the next quarter, for this quarter, March 31st. So mill cleanup, and then directly underneath the Sleeping Giant mill, there is the Sleeping Giant mine. We released a resource estimate in December. We published a technical report in January, and now we're doing the PEA. That PEA is going to be out in the next few weeks. And it's going to be based on the resource from December. So a lot of stuff happening with Sleeping Giant mine.
And the great thing about Abcourt is it's not just exciting stuff happening at Sleeping Giant. You've also got some other sort of really interesting work going on as well. I saw that you've just released your mineral resources estimate for your Discovery Gold project. Can you just talk us through a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Discovery deposit is 80 kilometers east of the Sleeping Giant mill. It's that deposit. It's an underground narrow vein deposit. It starts right on surface, but there's very little drill on that deposit. So we got over 170,000 ounces of indicated resource from a little bit over 150,000 meters of drilling. If you look at comparable in our camp, defining a gold deposit in the B2B Greenstone, the majority of the deposit requires over 500,000 meters. So at 150, it's an early stage project. So there's a lot. If you look at our longitudinal on the press release, you see a lot of gap. The gap doesn't mean that there's nothing there. It's just that the lack of drilling doesn't allow the geologist to state that there's a resource. So we're going to be doing drilling there in 2023. The second half of 2023, we're going to be doing drilling at the Discovery deposit to increase the number of resource. And why we're doing that? It's because it's within trucking distance from the mill. The Sleeping Giant mill historically has never been running at capacity. So that mill's has got surplus capacity, can take more than one deposit. So and it's a good opportunity to go further in the, like, I'm not saying Discovery will feed the mill next year, but you got to start. So you do the geology. Eventually, we're going to do the engineering, but it's a good prospect to eventually be a feeder to the mill.
I mean, I think one thing that I really like about Quebec is it's as you've just expressed there, you've got a fantastic government there that's really driving the mining industry, and you've also got fantastic infrastructure there as well. So none of those challenges that you might associate with other provinces.
Yeah, and good support, and fiscally for the investor and the company, there's a fiscal support for mineral exploration in Quebec. And the Discovery deposit qualifies for that fiscal regime. So it's a good thing for the company, and it's a good thing for the province. So yeah, in Quebec, the process is known. Myself, I'm from Quebec. I know the process very well. I know how long it takes, but once you get into the path of the approval process, it's a known process, and it's very easy to plan forward with that regime.
In terms of other exciting news that you've got to share since I think we last spoke in February, you've got a upcoming resource estimate of your flooding deposits. I think that's out in April. What can we expect to hear then?
Okay, the Florida deposit, it's only 6 kilometers away from the Discovery deposit. It's in the same area. The Florida deposit, it's right on surface. So you're looking at probably an open pit, a pit shell resource estimate. I'll have to ask the people on the audience to wait for the technical report, of course. But you can look at, you know, a typical pit shell. So a low cutoff grade of 0.5 grams, you know, like for a typical cutoff grade for a pit. And then with that, you're going to have higher tonnage, lower grade than a typical underground deposit like Discovery or Sleeping Giant. But the Florida deposit, because it's 6 kilometers from the Discovery and so 86 kilometers from the mill, depending on the volume, you could also say it's a potential hub, like a potential feeder to the Sleeping Giant mill in a few years. But the Florida is very promising too. And with drilling, those deposit Discovery, Florida, they're all open. So it just need more drilling to increase the resource.
And also in terms of kind of like jumping around a bit, we've got so much to go and update today. You've also recently completed the acquisition of Pershimex. So can you just talk us through as to how that kind of came about and how that will benefit Abcourt Mines?
Yeah, Pershimex is a small cap company. Right now, the share price of many exploration company in the gold sector, not just in Canada, everywhere, the price is depressed. So there's opportunities out there that you got to look for, and Pershimex is one of them. They own surface deposit, high grade on surface with very little drilling done. So they got the permit for a bulk sample. The value of the gold in the bulk sample will pay for the company. So it's like acquiring a property for next to nothing. So it was an easy one to think about. But the majors don't look at those because it's too much trouble, you know. For us, a company our size, well, guess what? That's the type of acquisition you're in the market for. You know, you can go and acquire a small cap company like that because you're not a $1 or $2 billion value company. So that's why those opportunities are open for us, and that we took it. It took it because it's a small cap. We're a small cap, you know, we're a small, like we're not a $400 million company. So it takes some time to complete this acquisition. So, but it's going to be done. We've got the support from the shareholders and the board from both company. It's already been approved by the shareholder Pershimex, so it's just a matter of time.
Well, the majors loss is definitely going to be Abcourt's gain. Looking through your strategic plan for 2023, I think you published a month or so ago, you also talked about your plans to monetize some of your base metals assets. What's your thinking behind that?
Well, our mill can process gold. So when I have a base metal asset doing nothing, you're going to do something with it. Either you develop it, or you sell it, or you go into a GV, but you don't let it sit in your book forever. So you're going to do something with the asset. Now, it might be a good time to sell it or spin it out. But the market has to realize that we're not going to give it away. So we're looking for opportunities. So if someone comes to me and say, hey, I want to buy it, and we can negotiate a price that is acceptable for both parties, we're going to sell it, because we're not in the base metal. We're gold miners.
And where do you see Abcourt Mines being in maybe sort of like 12 to 18 months' time?
Well, we're going to be a producer. The 12, 18 months. Sleeping Giant is fully permitted. We're complete. Like, the PA is going to be out in the next few weeks. After that, we're going to be doing the next phase, pre-feasibility or feasibility. And then we're going to go in commercial production. The PEA, I suspect the PEA will demonstrate the potential for a quick start at a low capex. So to me, like, if I had to bet on a company that will be in production in 12, 18 months in Quebec, I would put my bets on Abcourt.
Excellent to hear. Well, it's always a pleasure, Pascal, having you on Mines and Money TV. We look forward to seeing you at our future events, and would encourage our viewers to go and check out Abcourt Mines and perhaps go and buy some stock. Thank you very much for your time today, Pascal. This interview was brought to you by Mines and Money in association with Redcloud.
Thank you, Andrew. Take care.